All right, check this out. All right, guys, so I'm the first guy to bring you the ILS headlights DIY. Now here we got Android Auto and Apple CarPlay on the factory system DIY. Welcome back to Exotic Car DIY. So yes, we're going to be activating the factory version of Android Auto and Apple CarPlay on my Mercedes E63. And like I said, it's free. You do have to buy one or two things. I don't know if you count that free because you might already have these. But the cool thing is you really don't need the high-end like Mercedes computer like I have. You really only need a couple programs, and I'll show you what those are here in a second. You also don't need the C4 because this actually won't work. So if you have one of these systems, you're one of the viewers that has that, you'll find out that this one doesn't have DOIP. That means data over internet protocol, I think. So anyway, unless it says that, you can't flash. And if you try to flash one of these with a C4 without DOIP, it's not going to work. So you don't need one of these, luckily. So you actually just need one of these super cheap cables. I think this is $16 on Amazon. I'll link it in below. And basically, just check out the description below. I'll edit that since I can't edit the video. So if there's anything I need to add or any programs you're looking for, it's probably in the description. So check that out. So anyway, you just need this cable. You'll need a laptop or a computer with an Ethernet. And then you'll need two programs only. That is Monaco DTS. And then you'll need a program called SW Finder. And I'm not going to show you how to get Monaco DTS. The version I have is 0.8. You'll see it here in a second. I will maybe point you in the right direction. I just don't know about the legalities of all of that. So make sure you get a legal copy or whatever. And then two, you're going to need SW Finder. Again, I will put links in the description of how to find those. But you should be able to get those. Those are probably two of the easiest ones to find there on the internet. In addition to that, you're going to need a battery charger. Now, bummer part about this is it won't work in the earlier Mercedes. It won't work with the 4.5 or 4.7 radio. So it'll only work with the 5.1 Mercedes systems that are like this one. This one is a 5.1 and a 2016 E63. So if you have one of those older models, yeah, you'll probably have to go back and do like the aftermarket piggyback systems like, you know, sell from AliExpress and stuff like that. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started, guys. So the factory system is kind of limited. It does have a lot of cool features, nav, you know, all the good stuff, 360 camera. But like I said, there's no Android Auto on here, and that just makes it so much more convenient. Okay, guys, so welcome to the floor. Let's go ahead and get started here. We're here because this cable is actually not that long, so we kind of have to get cozy on the floor. But either way, I have a pretty elaborate system here. You don't need all that. All you need is Monaco and this program called SW Finder. But first, we need to set up our cable, which this took a long time to figure out, but I finally did it. So let's come over here. We're going to go over to Control Panel, Network Settings, Change Adapter Settings. All right, so we're going to go over here to Local Area Connection and Properties. Now, here's the thing. I know how mine was already set up, and I hope they come like this factory. I'm not sure. The only one I'm going to change here is the Internet Protocol version 4 properties. We need to change the IP address. So mine has used the following IP address, and we just need to change that because that's the number I use for my C4. So we're going to change that to 169.254. Again, all this should be in the bottom 0 and then 42. So once we have that in there, we can just hit OK and save. Now it should be set up to use this cable. All right. So the next thing is, like I said, I'm not going to show you where to get this program. I'm just telling you that you need to find this program to use. So we're going to use DTSMonico. Mine is version 8.14016. I think anything after 8 should be fine. Go over here to Manage Projects. Going to go to System Settings. And right here in here, we have our interfaces. As you can see right now, we're set up with SD Connect. And over here, SD Connect. So now we just need to add this eNet one. Now I've already got it set up. So to do that, you come over here to System and go to New Interface. And then we're going to start typing anything. So go ahead and type in eNet. Okay. I misspelled it on purpose. It's going to be a DUPIA. And then we need to add all these things. So you can see there's lists with drop downs here. Basically what you're going to want to do is in all those, you're going to add these specific sets. So interface name it eNet, D-PDU API. It is a Berner and Mattner system check, GBHM, blah, 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 for DTS. Yours might, depending on your version DTS, that's different. Make sure it's an MCA ISO 3400 DIOIP. Vendor model name, leave that blank. CABLE-PART-F-ECOM, and then licensing button check. Physical links, we're just going to go ahead and assign that to Ethernet 1. Now all of that is available in there. So once you get that all set up, you're going to need to turn off the other ones and turn on this one under both settings. So you see what we did there? Come over here and hit save to exit out, and now we're ready to start Monaco. And one important thing I do when I'm coding, I never actually use the wireless key thing or the keyless entry. So pop this out and actually put the key in and turn it to position 2. That way you know for sure nothing funky is going to happen on with any wireless technology. All right, ready to go. All right, so now I've hooked up the cable inside. The car is on. We also have a battery charger hooked up. Now, you can't use a trickle charger. You really need to have something with about 10 amps of power, because if this doesn't go right, because this thing's going to take about 45 minutes, if your battery dies or the power goes too low, you're probably going to brick your head unit. So if it's willing to take that risk, maybe use something else. But either way, fresh battery charger. Another option is you can leave the car running. But either way, get that all hooked up. All right, so now we're going to go over here to temporary workspace, and we need to open up a file called, make sure we're on SMR-d files. We need to open up a file called this one right here, HU51. Okay, we're using the SMR one, so SMR, finish. Now if you're using CBFs, you choose the top one. This green light over here means we have DOIP connected, which means you won't get that with the C4, you only get that with this. You come over here and make sure that we have Ethernet. So over here, I think we can go over to variant coding and hit connect. Boom. As you can see, now we have the green light here. So here we go. Now we have our coding loaded up. Just like you saw in my ILS video, we're going to want to back up that coding. So we're going to come over here. I'm going to go to coding set. We're going to hit save. We're going to name it red car before flash. Okay, it's saving as an AD file, so we'll go ahead and put that in our documents. Save, and then you can maybe write a comment here. We will do red car before flash. It's an HU5S1. Okay, so now it's going to go ahead and save that. Come back here to diagnostic services, so you get the V, and then come down here, and there's 3 numbers we need to get from here. So when we read ID, I'm sorry, now we'll read it. There. Okay, so it loaded all these things. Come down here, and you'll see there's 3 different numbers. We need the part number. So right here, hardware part number, I'm showing a 218.901.3001. Write that down. A little bit further, you see software part number, 212.902.4911. And then come down here a little bit more, and you get it the other part number, 212.902.3910. So those part numbers are related to your head unit. Now, your head unit, you have to flash the exact firmware for that head unit. Just because you have 5.1 does not mean you're going to have these numbers. You need to search and find out what numbers you need to use. Now, the problem is there's no really like set list. There's only people's experience. So I attached a list of what somebody compiled. It's not my list, so I'm not going to take any responsibility for any of this. That's just the list I used, so make sure you find it. Anyway, now we're going to come over here to SW Finder, open up SW Finder. Now I use that list I attached to find the numbers. So for example, I'm going to flashware search 176.902.7702. Now if you search for that, boom, it pulls up your data. So now we can click on this and it will download it. And when it downloads it, it actually downloads 3 files, a CFF, a SMR-d or whatever file, and then a bin file. And they're big. I think total came out to about 2 gigabytes worth of files. So I downloaded all 3 of those files, which when unzipped turns into 9 files. And then after you downloaded all of them, close that out. So now we can come over here. We're going to go to flash programming. We can go over here to temporarily add flash files. You can see that I have a couple of the flash files. We don't need to put the zip files in there, but we need all the other 9 files. So we're going to select all 9 files, no zip files. We're going to add those to the project. Boom. Okay. Now we're going to come over here and check all 3. Okay, so now we are very close to starting. Again, your car has to have a good battery. You have to have it on a 10 amp charger or running. And then nothing can interrupt this while it's going on. So we have a green check, DOIP, everything's green. We're going to come up here with all these boxes checked. We'll just double check them. There's our part numbers, 3910, 611, 7702. Prepare the flash programming. All right, now we're going to cross our fingers and we're going to hit go. So this is going to take about 45 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and hit go. All right, I'm going to go ahead and keep monitoring my battery voltage. So again, I just have a 10 amp charger hooked up. Over here, it's directly to the battery. You can see that we're pumping in about 8.85 amps. So right now the computer is flashing all 3 files onto the head unit. Like I said, it takes about 45 minutes. Expect it to kind of freeze up at 99%. That's when it does like a check. That check takes 10 minutes. So it'll stay at 99% for a while. I'm going to keep monitoring the voltage, make sure I keep my battery charger up, that it doesn't blow a fuse or anything like that. Like I said, you can do this with the car running. Just, you know, open the garage door so you don't suffocate. Anyway, we're going to check back, and hopefully when we're done, we're going to have Carplay. All right, guys, so quick edit here. As you can hear, my car is idling right now, and that is one of my pet peeves. I hate idling cars. There's probably nothing wrong with it, but for some reason my OCD thinks just don't let your car sit there and idle forever. But either way, the reason it's idling is because even with a new battery, I mean, it's only 3 months old, and it was on a trickle charger, so it wasn't low. And even on a 10 amp charger during this process, I watched the voltage go from like 11.6, 11.5, 11.3, and boom, it failed. Gave me a loading, you know, a flash error because of low voltage. So hopefully nothing got bricked. I shut down Monaco, started the car, restarted Monaco, started the whole process from the beginning, and it's going fine now. We're about to start the 3rd file, but either way, just kind of warning to you, maybe the safest way to do this is just with the car idling. Either way, just a little heads up. We'll check back in when it's done. So we got flash process was successful. So sorry about the car idling. I'll shut it off here in just a second. We're going to go back over to diagnostic services and connect again, and then we will go to read ID, and then we will make sure that we have all the new codes. So now we are at, it says high boot CY15. We'll get that from another thing. Hardware part number 218-3001. Software, there we go, 169-902-7702. There's the 3910, and there's the 6011. All right, so now what we did, the flash is successful, anything, I just wanted to turn my car off or whatever, so I've reloaded it. So what I did is I hit load, and I loaded our original AED file. So once you load it, come over here and hit the comment, because you can actually choose different versions of that. So we loaded that. It took about a minute for it to load. Go over here, and we just want to see the change domains. So now it's going to show us everything. The meaning is everything in this file. The original meaning is what's on your computer, because basically you're looking at what you want to change. So here's our original stuff. Here's everything that changed. So when I flashed all this, all of it went to like just the default programming. So one of the cool things about DTSMonico is we can do that all with one button. So with that button we selected earlier, the show changes between the files, all we have to do is come down here and hit do coding, and it'll copy all the changes over. So what that did is, because we saved our old file, as soon as we hit do coding, it copied everything word for word over. So now that we've copied the original coding back onto the new coding, we need to go through each parameter and find the exact CarPlay ones to turn on CarPlay. And so there's a few in here, so let's go through them. So under driver distraction, make sure you got the Cirrus weather and CarPlay both on enabled. Not sure what those were before, but those copied over. The thing about mine is, before I did all this, I had actually tried to turn on CarPlay on the previous update. So now we're down here to parameters. It was default before. We need to turn it to Park All Loud. And remember, to do that, all you got to do is be able to click on this and then turn it down to Park All Loud. Once you do that, hit Do Coding. But I've already done it on mine. Next one, we're going to RUI settings. We need to turn all these on. So we need to make sure that remote UI is on, mirror link over NCM on, notifications on, and send GPS data through RUR device on. Again, after you just double click on these, change them, and you're good to go. Now here's some big ones. Now these ones were kind of hard to figure out because initially when you code this, it's just going to say test and CarPlay won't work. So you need to go through and figure out which one it is. But here's the problem. 207, 218, 292, 172. Anyway, there's no 212s anywhere. I've seen people do this one, the MFACP telephony external amp. Now I did that one and it worked. But I don't know, you know, with the different number of speakers, the only car that has the kind of correct number of speakers is the 218. As you can see, there's two for 218. There is an internal amp 218, and then down here there's the B&O amp 218. And so I played with both of them. It does seem like they both work, but I went ahead and chose B&O. So in this one I did 218 B&O and coded it. And then that is the same one that you're going to do both for the hands-free perimeter car write. And then you're going to do that also for the Siri write and the FaceTime write. All three of those get the same C218 B&O. And then the last thing you want to do is go to remote UI applications, and there's quite a few things on here. You need to make sure remote UI services are on, CarPlay via USB is on, CarPlay limited UI elements, it's this long one. See, it's soft keyboard, soft phone, keypad, non-music list, and music list. That one needs to be on. Automotive link via USB on. And then I believe the rest of these are just kind of all down there. Anyway, once you have that all set up and all those codes, and again, I'll put all these in the description. You're going to go over here to Diagnostic Services, hit the plus sign, go over here to ECU Reset, hit the plus sign, click on this, and hit Transmit. Now, anytime you load the head unit stuff, things take maybe, you know, 30 seconds to a minute sometimes to do. So just give it time. Wait, I guess there's just a lot of files in there. Anyway, once you're all done, unplug it, turn the car off, let it sit for about 5 minutes, and then you should have CarPlay. And the last thing we're going to go ahead and do is just save this head unit. So this is head unit, red car after CarPlay, done. All right, and then again, this takes a few minutes once you do it, so we'll go ahead and save. All right, so now the coding is backed up. We can go ahead and exit Monaco, and we're going to enjoy some CarPlay now. All right, so we're into the nav. As you can see, everything's kind of normal here. So what I found out, it's not under radio. It's not under media. At first I didn't think I did it right. It's actually under the telephone button. So hit telephone, and then you can either hit telephone again, and boom, now you have CarPlay, mirror link, phone info, internet, phone, or Android Auto. So plug that into number 2, plug into the phone, if I can do it, activating device, and boom, there we go. We got Android Auto. So from everything I can tell, I still have all the factory functions, and the biggest thing I was concerned about, the main reason I did this myself, is I wanted my car to stay red. So I did find the settings to keep the car color, because I've heard of people swapping out parts and their blue car is now silver, their wagon is now sedan. So either way, I still have a red sedan for my 360 camera. So as you can see, we got all the apps here. It's not touchscreen, but you can use the knob to kind of get your way around it and figure out where you are.
Currently 76 degrees and mostly cloudy. Today it'll be partly cloudy with a forecasted high of 78.
Cool. I don't have an Apple phone, so I can't test that. Anyway, look in the description. I'll put any updates for anything that I find not working. I don't have an Apple, so like if you had an Apple and something's not working, just let me know and we'll post it in the comments. But as you can see, you can scroll through it and just move around the 7-way knob, and everything kind of gets pulled up. So that's kind of cool. Now, obviously, guys, it has Google Maps and Waze in here, and it looks like you can move the map around pretty easily, find anything you want. Everything functional-wise looks perfect. I don't have any issues with it at all. It's actually pretty easy to use with the knob instead of the touchscreen, instead of having to do it while you're bouncing around. But the sound quality is the same. Spotify sounds amazing on this, so much better than it does on the radio or whatever. So anyway, guys, I highly recommend it. All right, so now we're doing a test. So I did say it was going to be wireless. So check this out. If we unplug this, now we're just back to regular radio. So to get it work wirelessly, you can buy one of these from Amazon. Again, I'll put the link in the description. I've been using this one in my wife's Yukon for a couple months now, and it works pretty good. The only time it gets confused is if there's two phones that both have a history connected to it. But either way, let's try this. Plug this into number 2. All right, so now let's see. There it goes. So now it is now connected to the car. And boom, now we have wireless Android Auto. So my hope here is that I could just get in the car with the phone in my pocket and without hitting any other buttons. When I start the car, it automatically loads Android Auto. And that's exactly what happens. Wireless Android Auto and CarPlay, DIY with the factory system. God, I love this car. Anyway, so guys, we got Android Auto and Apple CarPlay activated on this car. Total cost is $0 if you're already on the cable. If you had to buy the cable, what, 15 bucks? Totally worth it. And on top of that, we have wireless Android Auto and CarPlay with that little dongle, and it's what, like 70 bucks on Amazon, and totally worth it. And so either way, I'm happy with it. Everything works as it should. I haven't had any issues at all. I'm going to test this for about 2 weeks. If I do have anything or anybody lets me know that there's a problem with Apple, since I don't use Apple, I'll post it in the comments below, so look there for updates. Anyway, totally worth it, and I hope you guys are happy with that. Please hit that like button, subscribe if you're not already.